Emma Collins never expected a normal Walmart trip to end in terror, and Daniel Reeves never imagined he would become the center of a citywide hunt led by ordinary shoppers. It was a typical Saturday afternoon at the Walmart parking lot, with cars crammed into every available space and shoppers moving briskly with carts full of groceries, clothes, and household items. The sun reflected off the asphalt, creating a glare that made it hard to see clearly, but no one expected that within moments, the ordinary scene would erupt into chaos. People laughed, children ran between vehicles, and the hum of engines filled the air, creating the illusion of normalcy. Then, without warning, a high-pitched scream cut through the routine noise. A woman had been struck by a speeding car. Her body flew across the pavement, landing several feet away with a sickening thud. Gasps and cries filled the parking lot as stunned shoppers froze, unsure whether to rush toward her or keep a safe distance from the vehicle that had caused the chaos. The car itself didn't stop. The driver, a man in his mid-30s, slammed the gear into reverse. For a brief moment, hesitated, then accelerated away in a cloud of dust and gravel. His face was pale, sweat dripping from his brow, eyes wide with panic. He didn't look back. People's reactions split in an instant. Some ran toward the injured woman, lifting her head gently, checking for signs of breathing, trying to keep her calm as blood trickled from a gash on her leg. Others scrambled into their vehicles, engines roaring as they tried to follow the fleeing man. In a matter of seconds, ordinary shoppers who had come to Walmart for mundane errands became witnesses to a shocking crime and participants in an impromptu chase. Security cameras perched on the store's exterior caught the events in real time, but the angles were limited. Dashcams from nearby cars recorded the chaos from multiple perspectives, capturing both the woman's struggle and the suspect's erratic escape. Each turn he made through the crowded lot increased the danger for everyone, yet it also heightened the urgency. Adrenaline surged through the hearts of those who followed, transforming ordinary people into vigilant pursuers, united by a single goal: to stop the man responsible. Panic mingled with determination. The parking lot, once a place of routine errands, had become a chaotic battlefield of fear, courage, and split-second decisions. No one knew what the driver might do next. Had he seen someone tailing him? Would he try to run someone down again? Every second felt like an eternity as the first signs of an ordinary Saturday spiraled into a life-and-death confrontation that no one would soon forget. Within moments, a group of shoppers had taken on the role of hunters, their fear transforming into a strange but determined courage. They jumped into their vehicles and followed the speeding man through the crowded streets, careful not to collide with other cars or endanger themselves. Some honked their horns, flashing their lights to signal one another, coordinating instinctively without a word. Every turn the suspect made, they tried to anticipate, keeping him in sight while navigating the chaos of traffic. Ordinary people, who had come to Walmart for groceries and supplies, were now in the middle of a high-stakes chase. Meanwhile, back at the parking lot, the injured woman was not forgotten. Quick-thinking bystanders knelt beside her, applying pressure to a bleeding wound and speaking softly to keep her conscious. The smell of burnt rubber from the fleeing vehicle still lingered in the air, mixing with the sound of sirens in the distance. Her survival depended on both her resilience and the actions of those around her. The shoppers chasing the suspect knew that catching him quickly could prevent further tragedy. The suspect drove recklessly, weaving between cars and taking sharp turns that threatened to send him crashing into walls or other vehicles. His face was a mask of panic, hands trembling on the steering wheel as he tried to escape. It was clear he had not expected anyone to pursue him. The hunters, however, were relentless. They communicated silently through signals and headlights, using local knowledge of streets and alleys to anticipate his moves. Every time he thought he might get away, someone was there, closing the gap. The adrenaline was intense. Each vehicle in the chase was a lifeline, each maneuver calculated. Drivers took risks they would never normally consider, yet fear of what the suspect might do if he got away pushed them forward. The streets, once ordinary and predictable, had become a maze of danger and strategy. Ordinary civilians were performing extraordinary feats, guided by determination and a desire for justice. As the chase continued, tension mounted. The suspect grew increasingly desperate, making sudden stops, swerving to avoid traffic, and glancing frantically at the cars behind him. The hunters were ready, anticipating every move, refusing to let him slip away. What started as a shocking incident in a Walmart parking lot had evolved into a suspenseful pursuit, a race against time, and an extraordinary story of courage born from ordinary people confronting danger head-on. The chase escalated with every block. The suspect's car darted through intersections, narrowly missing pedestrians who had frozen in shock. Tires screeched as he swerved to avoid other vehicles, leaving black marks on the asphalt. Shoppers who had joined the pursuit pressed forward, their hearts pounding, eyes locked on the fleeing man. Each driver understood the stakes. One wrong move could turn the pursuit into another tragedy, but stopping was not an option. The suspect's panic was palpable. His breathing was rapid, hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles whitened. Sweat ran down his face, mixing with dust and dirt from the streets. He glanced nervously in his mirrors, realizing the gap between him and the hunters was shrinking with every turn. He tried to lose them by cutting down narrow alleys and weaving through back streets, but the determination of the ordinary civilians tracking him was relentless. They knew the area better than he did and used it to their advantage, blocking escape routes and anticipating his next move. Dashcam footage captured the intensity of the pursuit. Viewers could see the suspect's erratic movements, the sudden accelerations, and abrupt stops. The hunters' vehicles followed closely, coordinated without words, moving like a single unit despite being driven by strangers. Horns blared, headlights flashed, and engines roared as the chase twisted through the city streets. Every turn raised the tension, every near miss added to the sense of danger. Time seemed to stretch, each second filled with uncertainty. The suspect's desperation grew, and his driving became increasingly reckless. He nearly collided with parked cars, forcing his pursuers to swerve sharply to avoid a crash. Ordinary people, who had never imagined themselves in such a situation, had to rely on split-second decisions and courage they didn't know they possessed. Fear was present, but it was overshadowed by the shared purpose of stopping a dangerous man. Then, in a twist neither side expected, the suspect took a wrong turn into a dead-end street. His panic turned into outright terror as he realized escape was impossible. The hunters encircled the street, blocking all exits. Engines idled, horns blared, and the moment of reckoning arrived. The ordinary Saturday afternoon had transformed into a high-stakes confrontation, with ordinary people now at the center of a life-or-death drama. The suspect's flight was over, but what came next would reveal the full consequences of his actions and the courage of those who refused to let him go. The suspect's panic reached its peak as he stepped out of his car, hands raised in surrender. The hunters circled him, their vehicles forming an impromptu barrier. They remained cautious, keeping a safe distance while making it impossible for him to escape. Moments later, police arrived, sirens piercing the tense air, and quickly secured the scene. Officers took control, handcuffing the man and leading him to a patrol car. What had started as an ordinary shopping trip had ended in a dramatic arrest, carried out not by trained law enforcement alone, but with the help of civilians who refused to let a dangerous man slip away. The investigation revealed unsettling details. The suspect had a history of reckless behavior, including multiple traffic violations and minor assaults, but nothing of this magnitude. Authorities described his actions as shocking and unpredictable, emphasizing that the randomness of the attack made it all the more terrifying. Experts noted that the incident could have resulted in far worse outcomes if not for the quick response of both the bystanders and the emergency personnel who arrived shortly after the chase concluded. Witnesses recounted their experiences in disbelief, recalling how quickly ordinary fear had transformed into a collective determination. They spoke of adrenaline surging through their bodies, the split-second decisions to follow and block the suspect, and the overwhelming sense of responsibility they felt in those crucial minutes. For many, it was a day that tested their courage and forced them into a situation they had never imagined facing. Meanwhile, the injured woman was taken to a nearby hospital, where she received immediate medical attention. Her recovery was slow but steady, thanks in part to the swift actions of those who had remained at the scene to help her. Doctors later emphasized that the timely care she received likely prevented permanent injury or worse. The community was left grappling with a mix of relief and lingering fear, aware that such a violent incident had occurred in a place many considered safe. Authorities praised the civilians involved, highlighting how their quick thinking and bravery directly contributed to the arrest. The incident sparked a larger conversation about community vigilance, the power of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances, and the thin line between chaos and control. The suspect now faced multiple charges, including attempted murder and hit and run, and would have to answer for his reckless and terrifying actions. What began as a chaotic moment in a Walmart parking lot had transformed into a story of courage, accountability, and the unexpected ways in which ordinary people can confront danger. In the days following the incident, the story of the Walmart chase spread rapidly through news outlets and social media. Videos captured by dashcams and security cameras went viral, showing ordinary shoppers transforming into unlikely heroes. People watched in awe as strangers worked together seamlessly, coordinating their vehicles to corner a dangerous criminal. The footage sparked conversations nationwide about courage, quick thinking, and the impact of everyday people in extraordinary circumstances. The community where the incident occurred felt both shaken and proud. Residents replayed the events in their minds, amazed that a routine shopping trip had escalated into a life-or-death chase. Many reflected on the thin line that separates safety from chaos and the unpredictable nature of violence in public spaces. Parents recounted the story to their children, emphasizing both the danger and the bravery displayed that day. What had been a frightening and chaotic experience became a powerful lesson in courage, resilience, and the importance of remaining calm under pressure. The victim, now recovering in her home, expressed gratitude toward the strangers who had helped her in her most vulnerable moments. Medical professionals noted that her survival and recovery were due to both the immediate first aid provided by bystanders and the rapid response of emergency services. Her story became a symbol of hope, demonstrating that in moments of crisis, ordinary people can make life-saving differences. Meanwhile, authorities continued to investigate the suspect's background. They discovered a pattern of reckless and violent behavior, but nothing that fully predicted the sheer audacity of his actions that day. Legal proceedings began, and the man faced multiple serious charges, including attempted murder and hit and run. The case became a cautionary tale, illustrating how quickly a single moment of recklessness can have far-reaching consequences. The incident also sparked discussions about public safety measures, the responsibility of drivers, and how communities can prepare for unpredictable emergencies. For those shoppers who had pursued the suspect, the event left an indelible mark. Many described it as a life-changing experience, one that showed them the power of collective action and the courage hidden within ordinary people. In the end, the Walmart parking lot, once an unremarkable place, had become a stage for heroism, a reminder that bravery can emerge in the most unexpected situations and that ordinary individuals can rise to extraordinary challenges when faced with danger.